The Thinkpad has quite the rich history, originating from Japan, having its initial development headed by Dell in the beginning half of the 1990s. 2005 was the year that saw Lenovo purchase the personal computing part of IBM, which included our beloved ThinkPad range. Over the course of the ThinkPad's life, it has earned itself the reputation of being one hardy, sturdy, and overall tough son of a gun. It's found itself fulfilling the computing requirements of organisations like the United Nations, the US government, and many other different organisations and corporations from all over the world, and even beyond that, being the only brand of portable computer permitted aboard the International Space Station. If you wanted a rundown on the reasons why the ThinkPad has become so popular, with over 200 million of them being sold since the 90s, I'd simply say that the ThinkPad has taken on the role of being the Kalashnikov of portable computers. There are other brands which may spring to mind, like the iconic Panasonic Toughbook, but when you look at the numbers, the ThinkPad is king. With all of the glazing out of the way, how do they stand the test of time? What I have here is a Lenovo Thinkpad X240, originally being released in 2013. This particular one was almost top of the range at release. Possessing a cutting-edge i7-4600U and 8 whole gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, it was a force to be reckoned with the only downside being its lack of a dedicated graphics processing unit. But come on, you didn't get a ThinkPad to game with, you got it to get important work done. As well as these impressive internal components, the ThinkPad includes 2 separate batteries, one internal and one external, allowing the user to swap the external battery in case charging is not possible. The X240 is an ultrabook and as such includes a 1366 by 768 IPS display. Not a gigantic amount of screen real estate to be sure, but as long as you're efficient, it's enough. With all of that said, how is this 12-year-old ThinkPad holding up? Well, the answer to that is pretty damn well. When I got this particular unit around 4 years ago, I paid £140 on eBay to purchase it from a guy who himself had also bought it second hand. So I don't really know how many people have owned this particular ThinkPad, but it's definitely seen its fair share of use. Even with its slight wear and tear, none of the keys have faded, there isn't a single dead pixel on the display, and with cringy stickers, a fresh external battery and Debian 12 replacing the Windows 10 installation I first received it with, the old thing runs like a dream, with a battery life often exceeding 8 hours of constant use. I mainly use it to do programming in programs like Eclipse, VS Codium and Vim, with Firefox being my browser of choice to watch sites like YouTube and to do general internet browsing. There is no noticeable slowdown either in video streaming or loading 10 different tabs. In the words of Todd Howard, it just works. One of the core identifiers to the ThinkPad lineup is its little nobule pointer located right in the middle of the keyboard. I've never really seen the value of such a peripheral, but apparently some people do, with claims online stating that it can reduce the risk of attaining RSI. It seems a little too extra for me personally, but hey, you've got the option and it breaks up the profile of the keyboard a little bit. 2 USB 2 ports, Ethernet, SD card slot, SIM card slot, VGA port, mini display port and headphone jack. Good luck finding all of those connections on the newest MacBook. The connectivity is one of the cornerstones of the ThinkPad lineup, and whilst the newer models have carried on the torch, like with many things these days, the older ones are just better. If you travel over to our virtual merchant, eBay, finding one of a plethora of older models of both IBM ThinkPads or Lenovo ThinkPads often lead to your purchase not exceeding £80 to £100. Bang for your buck is an understatement. provided that your use case for your laptop does not include intense work like advanced video editing, 3D modelling or AAA gaming. An older or newer ThinkPad, if your wallet can stretch that far, is, in my opinion, one of the best choices you could make. It's rugged, it's ready for action, and much like the Kalashnikov analogy I used earlier, they're plentiful. The new iterations of modern-day Lenovo ThinkPads have unfortunately gone down the pathway of becoming a little too mainstream, with Lenovo now making, at the very least, the X series of ThinkPads with soldered RAM. This, of course, goes no way in improving its longevity and is likely an attempt to decrease manufacturing costs, as well as encouraging users to purchase entire new machines down the line, as opposed to upgrading the one they bought in the first place. I have seen reports online that soldered RAM is faster, and while I'm not sure myself if soldered RAM is really that much faster to justify replacing the entire lineup of a series of ThinkPads with soldered RAM as opposed to modular RAM, it does work out to be cheaper to manufacture, and of course Lenovo sell a lot of their ThinkPads as sort of fleet sales to corporations and other organisations under a contract, so this does make sense for Lenovo in a business sense, it's not very beneficial for us individual consumers. But of course the vast majority of us buy them second hand and not brand new, so make of that what you will. All of that is to say, you really can't beat the combined utility, rigidity and cost of an old ThinkPad. I really do love these things, if you couldn't tell, but you should too, and I hope I've managed to convince you, if you haven't already, to give this little machine a chance. You never know, they might just satisfy your portable computing needs. As insinuated in this film, if you are going to buy a ThinkPad, you should probably buy an older model and upgrade it if it doesn't have sufficient performance for your computing needs, with newer ThinkPads favouring the corporate buyers as opposed to us individual buyers. Lenovo's decision to begin locking down the components within their systems is yet another step towards the ultrabook mainstream, where laptops are either gamer machines or locked down ultrabook / Chromebook glorified etch-a-sketches. To bring this video to a close, and if you're still on the fence about the ThinkPad, give it a try. If you're watching this video and have made it to this point, you probably find computers at least slightly interesting, probably. A ThinkPad is the gateway to begin exploring the vastness of computing. It's cheap, it's rugged, it's the perfect machine to experiment with, or employ as a mobile document writing machine. Shove it in the bottom of your bag and forget about it till you need it. It will be there waiting for you. And that, just about, concludes this short film about the ThinkPad. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. I've spent quite a bit longer than usual on it, and I hope that is evident. What do you think to it? Comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you really enjoyed it. I also have an Odyssey channel, so make sure to check that out, and I hope to see you in my next video.